The rain didn't fall, it pounded, as the emergency room doors of St. Arden Memorial slid open for the 12th time that hour. Inside, the ER was already bleeding time, voices, alarms, and exhaustion, all tangled together in a chaos only a few people could truly navigate without breaking. And among them was her. They called her just a nurse. Not because she was just anything, but because people needed simple labels for someone they could never fully understand. She moved through the AR like a quiet force, charting vitals with steady hands, calming trembling patients with a voice that never rose above control, never demanded attention, yet always commanded trust. Her name was Raven-6, though most of the hospital staff didn't use it. To them, she was charge nurse, night shift, or sometimes, when frustration peaked, that stubborn nurse who won't follow protocol. No one knew where the nickname Raven-6 came from. It wasn't on any badge. It wasn't in any HR file. It was something. Whispered once by a trauma surgeon who had seen her make impossible calls during a mass casualty drill, and never corrected again. That night, Raven was 3 hours into a shift that had already drained most people twice over. A bus crash had brought in 22 patients. A cardiac arrest in room 3 had come back twice. A child in room 5 kept asking when her mother would wake up. Raven answered all of them the same way, gently, clearly, as if the world still made sense. You're safe. I've got you. At 2:14 a.m., the hospital lights flickered. Then the sirens outside changed pitch. Not ambulance sirens, convoy sirens. The kind that didn't belong near a civilian hospital. The glass doors exploded inward as automatic systems unlocked under override codes. Boots hit the floor in perfect rhythm, too synchronized to be police, too disciplined to be security. A man stepped into the ER wearing no hospital ID, no scrubs, no explanation, just authority carved into posture. Where is Raven-6? He demanded. The room froze. A nurse dropped a chart. A patient in triage stopped mid-breath. Even the monitors seemed to hesitate, as if the building itself had recognized a different kind of emergency. The charge nurse on duty frowned. You've got the wrong hospital. We don't have anyone here by that. I didn't ask if you recognize her, the man cut in sharply. I asked where she is. Behind him, more figures entered, men and women in dark tactical gear, patches removed, faces unreadable. Special forces, not local, not standard, not anything this hospital had ever been prepared for. And yet none of them looked lost. They looked like they had come home. Raven stepped out from trauma bay 2, wiping her gloves on a gauze pad. She wasn't startled. She wasn't impressed. She simply looked tired. I'm Raven-6, she said quietly. Silence hit harder than any alarm. The lead operator stared at her, like she was a ghost that had finally decided to become real. You're supposed to be in a classified field unit. I was, she replied. Now I work here. A long pause followed, the kind that carried years inside it. Then the man's voice broke slightly. We thought you were dead. Something shifted in the room, not loud, not visible, but heavy enough to change the air. For the first time that night, Raven didn't look like the calm center of chaos. She looked like someone trying very hard not to remember something she had buried deep. A junior nurse whispered. What is happening right now? No one answered, because the answer didn't belong to hospitals. It belonged to battlefields. The commander stepped closer. We didn't come for paperwork. We came because Unit Echo is down. We've got 6 operators trapped overseas. No. Medic. No extraction window. No time. He swallowed. We need Raven-6. A supervisor scoffed nervously. She's a nurse. We have trauma surgeons. Your trauma surgeons have never operated under drone fire with no oxygen and collapsing infrastructure. He snapped back. She has. Raven closed her eyes for half a second. Just one. When she opened them again, she wasn't in an ER anymore. She was somewhere else, somewhere colder, somewhere louder. I retired from field work, she said. You don't retire from saving lives, the commander replied. That sentence landed differently. He lowered his voice. One of them is still alive because of a field protocol only you designed. They're asking for you by name. They said if Raven-6 is alive, she'll know how to get them out. A heartbeat passed. Then another. The ER behind her continued existing patients, pain, paperwork, but everything suddenly felt distant, like it belonged to a different version of her life. Raven turned toward the trauma bay. Inside, a child still waited for her mother to wake up. Room 3's monitor still beeped a fragile rhythm. The world still needed her here. But somewhere else, people were running out of time without her. She removed her gloves slowly, placing them on the counter like a decision being set down. Give me the channel, she said. A technician rushed forward with a secured comm device, hands shaking. A doctor tried to intervene. You can't just walk out, this is a hospital. Raven looked at him, not angry, not defensive, just steady. That's exactly why I can, she said. And then she did something no one expected. She didn't leave the hospital. Not yet. Instead, she walked to room 5. The child looked up at her with swollen eyes. Are you leaving? The girl asked. Raven hesitated, just long enough for it to matter. Then she pulled a small stuffed bear from her pocket, one she kept for pediatric patients who needed something to hold on to when the world got too big. She placed it gently in the child's hands. I'll be back, she said. The child nodded like she believed her. Because children always believe the people who stay calm when everything is falling apart. Only then did Raven turn back to the Special Forces team. I need 10 minutes to set up coverage. And by sign. Certifying, she said. If I leave this ER unprotected, people die here too. The commander nodded once. No argument, no ego, just understanding. Because this was what they had come for. Not a weapon, not a soldier. A person who still carried responsibility for every life in every direction she looked. 10 minutes later, Raven-6 walked out of the AR doors. Not as a legend, not as a myth, but as a nurse who had never stopped being one, even when the world tried to turn her into something else. Behind her, the hospital kept breathing. Ahead of her, a mission waited in the dark, and somewhere in between, she carried the quiet truth that defined her entire life. Saving people was never about where you stood. It was about who you refused to leave behind. And that night, just a nurse became the reason 6 soldiers made it home.